actually kind of late making this video, but I wanted to get this information out. It's regarding the Philippines. I think most of my followers, all 100,000, not really. I seem to notice that I get followers whenever I leave comments on Philippine video channels. I think most of my followers are either living in the Philippines or have an interest in the Philippines somehow. Because whenever I leave a comment or participate in some kind of live chat, I seem to pick up a follower here and there. I've been seeing a lot of information here. I'm basically here in California, Southern California. Once in a while I see some info regarding the Philippines or Filipino here that lives here in the United States. I think it'll be interesting just to make videos of that regarding Filipino interests. But basically I'm looking to travel to the Philippines on a long-term basis if it's possible. You never know how the visa requirements will change in the future. So if you're interested in seeing how a person can go from the United States, just pack up everything and move to another country, then make sure you watch my future videos. I'm going to be recording the process that I will be enduring. But in those videos I will also discuss my budget, what kind of budget I'll be taking, and how I will supply my income, because I assure you I will not survive from these YouTube videos because it's not going too good right now. I was thinking about quitting making these videos. You know, why am I going to make videos if nobody's watching them? So this particular information here is about Philippines gets first vaccine shipment to start rollout. I'm actually really late. I'm about a month late. You can see the date there when this is published, because that goes back to my non-motivation, and plus I forget sometimes when I saved this information and I forgot to actually make a video of it. So let's go ahead and talk about this. I think it's still topical because you know, the people I have a few friends in Philippines already, and I've been discussing with them, and they just had the lockdown just started last week. I think it's supposed to go on for 2 weeks. The people that I know there have not got their vaccinations, and almost all of them say they were not, even if they would be asked to get it, they would not get it. Let's just read here. The Philippines will begin inoculations against COVID-19 this week after receiving its first vaccine delivery of 600,000 doses from Sinovac Biotech. So that happened a month ago, but here I never heard of Sinovac, but I looked up. That's actually a Chinese company. Go figure. Let me just give you some info about this article. It's from Bloomberg, just so you know that it's not some kind of fake news site. And here's Bloomberg right here. It's a financial news website. It's very believable site. So Sinovac Biotech. Let's just go into who they are. I looked up here on this is Wikipedia. Sinovac Biotech. You can see here they're from Beijing, China. People's Republic. It began in 1999, 22 years ago. And they focused on commercializations of vaccines. Let's go down here and they talk about what kind of vaccine they have. It's called CoronaVac. It's an inactivated virus vaccine. So, I'm not a chemist or anything, and I'm basically a novice when it comes to any verbiage that discusses any type of medicine or vaccines or anything in the medical world. But I've been reading some of this, and tells you right here, an inactivated vaccine is a vaccine consisting of virus particles, bacteria, or pathogens that have been grown in culture and then killed to destroy disease-producing capacity. So they have basically, of what I've been understanding, is all these vaccines is used in some way that relates to the immune system in a person. So in this case, it's an inactivated vaccine is part of the virus, but it's not part of the virus that's alive. They kill it. So it's inactivated. Basically, that's what they're saying. And they put this in your system so they can trick your immune system into believing it's an active virus, and then that's how it fights it. Supposedly, when you have some kind of virus in your body, your immune system gets notified and starts to gain in strength and goes after the virus. Basically, I'll discuss later, and I'll show you what the Pfizer vaccine is, because it's different than this inactivated virus. But this one, it tells you here in Brazil, Chile, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines, and Turkey also. I'm kind of wondering why it's the most prominent vaccine in the Philippines. I've been staying on top on some of the information regarding the country of Philippines, and I've noticed over the years that ever since the Stooge Obama had some kind of confrontation with Duterte, that the Philippines actually started to move away from USA, and they began a stronger alliance with China. I want to discuss some of the other info here. They said that this vaccine does not need to be frozen. That's one positive. But a negative is they said Brazil here, they were doing some testing on this vaccine, and they found it was only 50% effective. Can you believe that? 50% effective at preventing symptomatic infections. So basically, then it tells you here 78 effective in preventing mild cases, but 100% effective in preventing severe cases. So basically, they're saying you will get symptoms 50% of the time. 78% of the time, it'll prevent getting mild cases of symptoms that require treatment. So, that's getting a little better. So say like you can't breathe and you need to go to the hospital. This will prevent that 78%. But like the Pfizer and Moderna, I believe theirs is 95%. Here, 100% effective in preventing severe cases. So they're saying that nobody will have tremendous effects from this. But, you will have some kind of symptoms, 50%. And I also took a little article on that I seen here. It's basically talking about the same thing. This is from this is from the BBC News. Chinese vaccine 50% effective. I think this has probably been updated recently. I also want to show you what kind of vaccine the Pfizer has. Most of the United States has this Pfizer. This tells you a little bit about Pfizer, and says that they're located in Manhattan. So that's a American-based company. Basically, this one is this is the type of vaccine it is. mRNA type. It's a messenger RNA. I have no idea what that is, but I've been reading a little bit about it. It's a synthetic protein, and once I hear anything that's synthetic, it means it's man-made, and I always get worried about that. Basically, I don't take any type of medication. I'm all about natural herbs to do my healing for me. I had something over here. Yeah, here they tell you about the mRNA. It's a vaccine. They use a copy of a natural chemical called messenger to produce an immune response. The vaccine transfects molecules of synthetic RNA into immunity cells. So it uses this synthetic RNA to basically boost the immunity and to fight the virus. From what I understand, it's like faking your system into thinking that you have the virus, and it increases your immune cells to fight them. I also want to compare. I was thinking about what's the differences between these vaccines and the typical flu vaccines that you get every year. And basically the flu vaccine is, they take it from eggs. That's how you get the vaccine from the flu, which seems kind of odd, but that's how they do it. And they have different names for the flu vaccines. They're trivalent or quadrivalent intramuscular injection, which contains an inactivated form of the virus. That's It's called a trivalent if it's the injection type. But if you have a nasal spray, it's a different process. It's a live vaccine. So basically the trivalent is similar to the China vaccine because it's also an inactivated form of the virus. So it's killed before it enters your system. So it kind of tricks your system into thinking that it's a live virus, and that's how you fight it. So those are the similarities. You see the inactivated form and here also inactivated virus vaccine. So that's the similarities of that. And just read on down here. President Rodrigo Duterte called on the public to set aside your fears regarding the Chinese-made vaccine. The rollout will start Monday in the Philippines in the General Hospital. There was a fear. The only fears that I've been reading about is some of the vaccines coming out of China are actually fakes. I've seen an article here that I think last month, this from European Pharmaceutical Review. Chinese police seize over 3,000 fake vaccines. There were actually more than 3,000 saline filled vials. Basically the stuff that I use for my contact lenses. It looks similar to that too. I always get my contact lenses in vials like this. So they were basically trying to push these off as authentic vaccines. Chinese police have arrested more than 80 members of the group distributing. So you never know if that was just for theatrics, or if that was an actual organization that was affiliated with China. They could have just arrested them just as maybe somebody tipped off the news media or something that somebody was producing fake vaccines, and so some of the Chinese leaders, they probably decided to make this public and just have some scapegoats or something, and they arrested 80 people. You never know what's going on. Sometimes I think even these other vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, that they're all placebos. How can they come up with vaccines in less than a year that can actually work against this virus? It's just something to think about. So you can read down here, scheduled Monday delivery of 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca has been postponed. Actually, my friend told me that they have AstraZeneca there, so this was a month ago. I'm not sure if maybe that postponement went through already. So they have a contract with Sinovac. They're going to supply 20 million shots with a delivery schedule of 1 million doses a month from March through May. 2 million shots a month starting June. So I'm not sure if it doesn't say anything if you have to get 2 vaccine shots like the Pfizer and I believe Moderna's not too widespread here in the U.S. from my knowledge, but my knowledge is limited. Here it says Duterte has said the entire country, which has the second highest number of infections in Southeast Asia, is facing limited vaccine supplies this quarter and will not be placed under looser quarantine curves until shots are rolled out. So this lockdown is for 2 weeks, but until the vaccine is out, maybe it's going to be longer than 2 weeks. We'll see. I believe this is the second week of the lockdown there. I think they're still locked down. I haven't heard anything recently. Here it says the agency tasked with battling the pandemic agreed Friday not to require testing for domestic travelers unless required by localities, and you won't be required to quarantine unless you have symptoms. Okay, that's about the end of this article. They just tell you basically how the cases are rising, but that's not even close to what we have here, especially in California. So that's the end of this, and yeah, I have a few other articles that I found regarding some of the people from I guess they've been transferred. I'm not sure if they're considered OFWs or not, because I think they're now permanent U.S. citizens, but I've seen some articles regarding some Filipino residents, and I'm gonna do some of those next. Also, you know, there's I'm not sure too many people know about it, but yeah, outside of the Philippines, here in Southern California is the largest community of Filipinos. I'm also going to be doing some videos regarding that, a little bit about the history and the population. And basically in Southern California, there's over close to 700,000 Filipinos that live here, and I guess that's considered, it's called the Greater Los Angeles, which has about 5 counties, and the overall population is close to 20 million, and there's almost 1 million of Filipinos that live here now. This is also from Wikipedia, and it says the population is 600,000, but this was I believe this consensus was in 2014, so it's probably close to 1 million already, and I will be discussing that in other videos. I also want to do videos on how Filipinos made the transition from the Philippines coming to live here in California. But it's really difficult to get interviews. Even the Filipinos here in the United States, seems like they've been taking on some of the American habits, and it seems customary for Americans to not too open with strangers. And it's just, people have paranoia here, in the minds of these people that live in the USA. So they're not too friendly, and it's hard to get interviews, especially after COVID. People really don't want to talk to anybody or do any kind of interview. So we'll see what happens in the future, see if I can do some interviews, and I will keep you updated. So make sure you stay tuned.